In the last video, we inoculated hardwood fruiting blocks with lion's mane mycelium on grain. In this video, we'll see the bags colonize, fruit, and then harvest the results.
Just a quick shot of the grain bags, just all four of them sitting on a shelf. This is a shelf I use as a kind of a nursery station. There's lights under there, and soon I'll be starting some seedlings. And for right now, they're just gonna sit there right about room temperature. Okay, just a quick little update here. It's December 5th, so we're on day 4 here. One thing I can see, all the bags have a little bit of condensation right here. That's good. It means like there's activity going on. Mycelium's like breathing in there, basically. Starting to see a little bit of kind of wispiness here and growth. It's a little hard to see, but kind of in there. Still gonna be a while. The blocks are still really loose, but they'll tighten up. But yeah, day 4, we definitely have some activity. You can see back there, that one's got a little more condensation. And they breathe through this filter patch. That's one reason why I leave the bags up like that. Later on, we'll tuck it all down, but right now we want them to breathe, basically. So, this is a 1-week checkup. You can see we've got mycelium growing kind of all around. Here and there, some nice chunks of white, like right there. Over here too, see some nice little white chunks. There's still plenty of open areas. We got a ways to go. It'll be a few more weeks probably before these are fully ready, but it's already starting. Let's look at the bottom of this guy. Yeah, you can see starts around the edges. We'll eventually go into the inside. We'll give it a little while, but it's working. Yeah, today is December 9. So we're only about 8 days in, but we got some pretty good growth. Plenty of substrate left to be colonized, but it's growing really well. That's kind of how lion's mane does it. Let's see, there's just a little, it's almost like little tiny fruits on top. It's December 12th, and I just did something that I haven't done before, but I kind of wanted to see what happened. Lion's mane likes to fruit kind of prematurely. You can see some up here, and it normally doesn't do it too bad on me, but these 2 bags had a decent amount of growth on the top. So kind of like I do with my grain jars, there's a lot of substrate that's still not colonized. So I basically did a break and shake on them. I took them down, squeezed them, and mixed as much as I could of the existing sort of mycelium and grain back in, and we'll see what happens. I'm partly curious to see if this speeds things up or how the fruiting does. So we've got a little bit of a test here now. Plus, it's true that contamination can sometimes make mushrooms fruit early. So this will also help expose any contamination that might be in there. So just updating you on that, and we'll see what happens when they fruit. I've marked these 2 with a break and shake 12-12, basically is what I did on that one and this one. All right, see you next time. Okay, it's December 15, and it's looking like these other 2 bags are just really fruiting a bit on top too. It's not all over, it's right on the sides, but it's a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and break and shake them as well. You can see I've already marked it, but I'm just about to do it. I've done it to these 2, and they look like they're coming back nicely. So I just did it to this other one, and now I'm gonna do it to this last one, but I wanted you to see it first. So again, I've never done this before. It's a little bit of an experiment. I'm willing to risk it. We'll see what happens. Okay, it's 6 days later, and we have some weird stuff going on here. After the break and shake, we've got what looks like it could be mold. It could also be some weird mycelium growth, but contamination would be one reason why this is trying to fruit so much. I'm going to check it out with my endoscope, and then we'll get a closer look at this. Okay, hi everyone. It's December 27th, and so we're just about three and a half weeks past when we inoculated these, and you probably saw there's been some issues, or they've been trying to fruit. You can even see here, they're still trying to fruit in the bag a lot, which very often is a response to contamination. I've actually never had contaminated hardwood blocks before, so this is kind of interesting, but we definitely have some kind of contamination. You can see this discoloration here. This is not good. This stuff in here, it's kind of mold-like. That's not good. So I kind of suspect my flow hood and my garage, it's been kind of dirty. I need a cleaner space to do it. I think I've just sort of let it go a little bit, but we've got a little bit of a mix. This one, for example, doesn't look too bad, and it's not really trying to fruit too bad. This one looks like the best one. I think maybe we should mark these or something somehow. And then this one's not too bad either, but basically what's going to happen is let's just get these in the fruiting chamber. It's ready to go. I'm going to leave town for a few days. It's a good time to do it. I have my duct tape, and I don't have very much of it, so I got some electric tape too, and I thought I'd show you at least how I prepare the bags. Let's prepare one bag. I'll prepare the rest off camera, and then we'll get them in the fruiting chamber at least, and we'll see what happens. I might as well. At this point, we've kind of come this far. I could just toss these, but you can see it is fruiting a bit. So, all right, let's take the best one here. And it's really kind of the same sort of thing as when we first did them in the pressure cooker, right? We want to get right now it's doing some gas exchange through here, and we don't want that to happen anymore. So I'm going to kind of poke that down and cut off the air supply basically here. All right, and then what I do with that is just take a piece of duct tape. I like duct tape because it seems to hold for me. Electrical tape works good in general too because it's waterproof, but a good piece of duct tape. You can just put that on there, and I'm pulling it pretty hard. I want to make it. I don't want it to be able to. I want to get as much air out of there as I possibly can. It's kind of impossible to get it all, but that's usually good enough. If it's not holding, sometimes I'll tape another one down, but. Now I need to get a blade. I usually use a razor blade or something, and I'll clean it, but this knife is pretty clean. And there's a couple of different ways to do it. Some people will slit, but I usually do that more for oysters. What I'm doing is I'm looking about 2 inches down from the top of the bag on the side. So kind of here and here are going to be my points, right? And all I'm going to do is sort of cut, whoops. I'm going to cut a little sort of an X. Right, and then what this does is this now has air exchange, and that should give the mycelium the signal it needs to fruit. I'm just doing a little, probably could do it a little bit bigger. They don't actually need much. You'd be surprised. The whole giant thing can come out of one small little area here. So, okay. So that one's pretty good. And I'm basically going to do the same thing to the next three. And then we'll get them down in the fruiting chamber. All right, we're out at the fruiting chamber here. I just put them in there. Let's go ahead and open it up and check them out here. Okay. Here's the 4 bags. Just sort of separated them a bit. I like to put them towards the edge of the shelf because they're going to grow out from those bags. And this guy is the best looking one. This is kind of the second, I think. Maybe this one. I don't know. We'll see what happens. but they'll take a few weeks. They're in here basically 95% humidity and about 65 degrees. And we'll check on them every once in a while. Of course, I'll check them daily, but I'll if anything happens in here, I'll make a quick little video and let you know. And we'll see them in a few weeks, if nothing else. Okay, it is January 1st. I've been away for 4 or 5 days, and I had put the lion's mane in the fruiting chamber before I left. So I have not looked. Let's see, this is going to be a reaction. Okay, well, got some beginnings happening. Kind of in that sort of brains kind of stage. Look at this, there's like a hole. I didn't even make that hole up there, but I'm gonna sort of pop this open a little bit more to allow some more oxygen in there. In some of these places where it's not really popping, I'm gonna just open that up. I can see a fruit right there. So I'm just gonna let that guy go. The same thing over here, they're not. It's interesting, almost all of them are fruited sort of one block first here. So far so good. It's tons of growth in here, but yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll check back in a few days. Okay, it's about 3 weeks later, and normally I'd probably let these guys go a little bit more, but I can see some yellowing on here. See, the teeth aren't quite as long as I would normally do. I'd let them I'd probably go another day or two. But it's been so cold. These have been stressed. It's also the first run of this version of this fruiting chamber, so it may not be perfectly dialed in. I could probably use a little bit more humidity, I think. It certainly could use more a higher temperature. It's been really cold. So let's pull these guys in and take a look. I'll meet you in the kitchen. So here we are in the house. I ended up only taking 2 of the blocks. As I was pulling them out, the bottom 2, these are the top 2, as you can probably tell. This was on the left, this one was on the right. And the bottom 2 just really had more to go. They didn't really have any teeth hardly at all. So I didn't see that as well out there. But as soon as I started pulling them in, I thought, I'm gonna let those go a couple more days. And now what we're gonna do with these is, let's see how much we have. I don't normally do that. I just usually say, oh, I have lion's mane or mushrooms or whatever. And I eat them or cook them. These are destined for a dual extraction tincture. It's one of my favorite things to do with lion's mane. I like to eat them just fine, but making a tincture makes it kind of powerful, and it makes it sort of like a focus energy boost kind of thing. You really feel it. If you're interested, let me know. I'll do a video on how to make a dual extraction lion's mane tincture, because it saves me about $500 a year. But anyways, I'm gonna turn this to the side a little bit, and you see, harvesting lion's mane, one thing I love about it is super easy. It all grows out of that, this big cluster just grows out of that little hole. So all you do is take it and kind of pull it off. There, it's harvested. And what I'm gonna pull this out to the side here. Let's get the scale out. I might get you a little bit closer here too so you can see, but otherwise just believe me. I'm gonna zero this. Let's go for grams first. All right, there's a tiny bit of substrate still on the back here, but let's just ignore that for right now. Actually, I'm just gonna pull that off because I don't want any dirt in the bowl. Dirt, substrate. All right, so right away that first one is about 192 grams. Not a ton, not a lot, but ooh. This one was stuck on top a little bit. It was just sort of anchored itself on there. All right, pull off the substrate.
So this will be 100% edible, usable lion's mane. All right, we're at 361. And this block, I might just put it back in the chamber because I've got it, because I have it still going, because we could easily get a second flush out of here. It's still pretty heavy. What ends up happening is really the water that's in here goes into the mushroom. So you can kind of tell a block is done when it's light. There's more chance for more chance for contamination as we keep going, right? There's just that much more chance of something that it's in there. And this doesn't look like the best block in the world. Could grow out, so we'll see what we get, but it doesn't really cost me anything to stick it back in there and see what happens. So we'll do that. And let's get this second one going here. Just add it to the party. And don't worry, I'm gonna convert these grams to pounds, people. Just like to start there. Kind of like grams in general. 461, and the last one. Just doing a little substrate cleanup. Okay, a knife would be nice. Okay, this one kind of broke into two, but you can see we got a pretty full bowl. Whoa. 746 grams, which is 1 pound, 10 ounces. So let's call it 1.5 pounds of lion's mane. That's about $30 worth of lion's mane. At the normal, about 20 bucks a pound. So, and it cost me, now that I have all this stuff, I don't know, a few bucks. $5, let's say, for all the substrate, the bags, and all that, and probably even the energy to keep it going. But I really don't know. I definitely know it's cheaper and it's easier, and these are way cleaner than anything you're gonna find in the forest, right? There's no bugs in this. All right, so I'll go ahead and show you. I'm gonna load up these into a dehydrator and dehydrate them. That's kind of the first step. I like to dehydrate my lion's mane before I make tinctures, but I'm just gonna dehydrate them. I'll put them in a jar and I'll wait to make tincture because I have plenty of tincture right now. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. And when we get a little closer, we'll change the setup. All right, I got the dehydrator out. You can see I got the old standby Presto Dehydro. Like everybody's got this one. It's one of the cheaper ones, and I've had it for a few years now, and it works pretty well. Someday I'll get a fancy one with like drawers and little sliders and stuff. But this actually works great, and I've got the maximum amount of trays that you can have, which is 8. It comes with 4, but you can buy 4 more. I also use these guys sometimes. I don't need them for this, but I have these little sort of plastic mats for things that are really small. But let's go ahead, and what I do is I just turn all this upside down, put those there, and then I put the first tray on, and this is really easy. I'll probably just do part of this, as you'll see. You don't need to watch the whole thing. I rip these off, and I don't know how well you can see it. Do you notice it kind of looks like chicken? You could totally see how people will use this as sort of a meat substitute. Mushrooms in general, kind of earthy, meaty. I'm just breaking these into chunks. They kind of pull off almost in like little buds or whatever. I want them to be sort of small so they'll dehydrate sort of at the same basic rate and not too slowly. I want to sort of expose surface area. You see and they're gonna all turn sort of yellowy like that. So it doesn't really matter right now if a couple are yellow. So I sort of want that, like a big piece of broccoli almost, is kind of what I'm thinking of when I do this. All right, and then there we go. All right, and I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'll probably speed this up unless I have something really witty to say, but yeah, you see, then I'm gonna put these in the garage, or that's where I usually put it, because this is noisy. It's just I'll put it out there and I'll check it, but it shouldn't take but about 8 or 10 hours. Fancier dehydrators are nice because you can dial in the right temperature. This is just on or off. Do you want dehydration or not dehydration? This is a really light one. All right. You can see, but it kind of grows. It reminds me a little bit of cauliflower. It's got this branching to it, and then it sort of poofs on the end. It smells really good. It's mushroom, but it's not your typical like cremini portobello. It's a little milder and a little, gosh, I mean, you can make a really good sort of fake crab cakes with this. So it's got a little bit of a seafood, but it's not like an oyster. Right? To me, oysters are almost, I put them in the seafood category because they're named, I mean, they're well named, right? All right, there's that one. Do not crowd it, don't want to crowd it too much. All right, there we go. Probably it's kind of morning here, so probably this evening I will I'll have these done. I'll see you then. All right, it's the evening. It's before dinner time. It's almost 5 o'clock on the same day here. I changed my shirt because I took a shower, but got the stack of the dehydrator in from the garage, and I'm gonna try to bring this down low so you can see. You can see they almost look like little yellowy kind of pieces of chicken. I'm gonna put them into, I've got 2 jars here, and I wanted to show you sort of how I prep these. I have these desiccants, and I like to keep a desiccant in when I dehydrate mushrooms, and I just want to show you, I really love these because they're blue when they're active, basically when they're ready, and then they're pink when they're done. And then all I did, these actually both were this color, this pink before I started here. I just put this one in the microwave for a couple minutes. It's actually not quite blue enough. I might microwave this just a little bit more here. But this is pretty cool because you can even watch it in the jar, and you could see if that were to go pink, then I've got some kind of moisture in there or something. I would want to take that out and either check or just refresh the desiccant. But you can reuse these, I guess forever. I don't know, but they're you just microwave them. You can also bake them. I just put it in the microwave for a couple minutes, and that's usually what works. But I'm gonna go ahead and actually do that again really quick, just so you can maybe see how it gets a little bit bluer. Hopefully you can tell now. See, it's kind of a really rich, sort of a cerulean blue. I don't know, really nice deep blue. Not that. So this one I'll pop in there too, in between things. But I'll just do 1 jar here. I think I've got just enough to fill 2 jars. I like to put this in the bottom, and I like to do it so that it points down, right? That way I can always look at it. And then honestly, I use a little canning funnel just to make aiming easier. And then it's just sort of loaded up. It's really pretty simple, right? Let's load this guy up. And now, here's one thing I do. If I know that a mushroom is destined for something like a tincture, I might just shove them all in here and not really care what they look like or about the texture or anything. But there's a chance I might use these to eat, so, why commit so early? I'm gonna just keep them as intact as I can, and I can just keep shaking these. And every time you shake it, it sort of settles a little bit, and you get a little bit more in there, but this one's getting pretty full. And I know 1 jar of this is gonna give me about, I don't know, half a liter of, or about a quart, was it about, yeah, I can't remember, a couple liter of tincture. Okay, there's 1. By the way, I like to make little labels with my Dymo label maker. So this just says LM Jan 24. That means Lion's Mane January 24th. All right, I've got one for that one. And then, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just microwave this really fast. I won't make you watch. Okay, that was 2 minutes exactly on a 1,000-watt microwave, and you can see nice and blue there. I usually let these cool off just a little bit, but it won't hurt too much to go in there. Okay, there we go, right? Just put it blue side down. Oh, and one thing I did 2 things actually while you weren't here is I put the labels on the jars just so you could see, and there were like 3 pieces on the 1 tray. I went ahead and got them into here because I figured 4 and 4, 4 trays for 1 jar, 4 trays for the other jar. And yeah, so it's just, oops, where's my funnel? I had a feeling that was feeling a little bit harder than usual.
Alright. The feeling these are going to be harder because I usually space them. I put more on the first few shells, and so we might have to shove a few into the other jar somehow here. We'll see. Now, if you live somewhere like Arizona, you might not even need the desiccant, right? Those are the Puget Sound, Pacific Northwest here, so it's pretty humid. I mean, it's like 40-50% humidity in my house all the time, right? And 99% outside a lot of the time, so I really have to look out for humidity. Basic idea, though, is you keep them dry. If there's any moisture in there, moisture is what everything likes to grow with, right? So the bacteria and other fungi or molds, and basically you can get food poisoning if it's not dry. So I dehydrate them very thoroughly, and yeah, keep them with the desiccant in a jar, sealed tight in a dark place. I'm trying to sort of shake these. We're down to pretty much 2 full jars, but still have half a tray left, and so now it's sort of this combination of shoving them in there, shaking the jar. We'll get them in there, maybe. I'm always surprised by how what shaking it will do, or often surprised, not always. That's pretty full, man. I don't know if I'm going to get more in there. I think that's it for that one. So, see, it's sticking up a little bit. I'm just going to shove it down like that. We'll sacrifice maybe the looks of one of them, right? Just to get it in that. Okay, there we go. I'm all in there. 2 nice jars of lion's mane, and a couple more coming in the garage, probably, or at least 1.5. And food, tinctures, you can make capsules. Lion's mane is amazing for your health in multiple ways. So if you don't know much about it, well, you probably wouldn't be here if you didn't. So hopefully you know what you're doing. Hopefully you know what lion's mane is. I'll just clean this guy out and for the next time. But yeah, there. If you have any questions or want to talk about anything about lion's mane or other gourmet or medicinal mushrooms, let me know. Let's talk. Let's do stuff. Good luck if you decide to do any of this stuff. I'm happy to help you out if you want to try to grow some mushrooms. So let me know how I can help you. Till then, take care. See you next time.